Today, we will explore the stories of the most infamous women in the Bible, uncovering the crimes they committed and the historical context behind their actions. If you find this topic interesting, please consider supporting the channel by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to help us spread knowledge. In third place on our list of the most wicked women in the Bible is Herodias. To understand her actions, we need to know the story of John the Baptist. John the Baptist was a charismatic and fearless prophet who preached in the regions around the Jordan River. He denounced sins and encouraged repentance, attracting many followers with his powerful message and austere life in the desert. His fame and influence began to cause tensions when he publicly criticized the marriage of Herod Antipas to Herodias. Herod Antipas, ruler of Galilee and Perea, had divorced his legitimate wife to marry Herodias. The issue was further complicated by the fact that Herodias was the ex-wife of Philip, Herod Antipas's brother. This marriage was not only a moral outrage but also a violation of Jewish laws. John the Baptist, true to his principles, boldly condemned this illicit union, pointing out its moral consequences. His words deeply offended Herodias, who felt threatened by John's influence and wished to see him dead. Herod Antipas, however, had a different view. He admired John the Baptist and initially respected him as a prophet, even though his words were hard to hear. Nevertheless, yielding to political and social pressures, and influenced by Herodias, Herod eventually ordered John the Baptist's arrest. Even while imprisoned, John the Baptist became a symbol of resistance, remaining faithful to his principles and mission. His imprisonment symbolized the eternal conflict between divine morality and human ambitions. Herodias, however, was not satisfied with John's mere imprisonment. She wanted him executed. The climax of this story unfolds during an extravagant feast hosted by Herod Antipas. Ever strategic, Herodias instructed her daughter Salome to dance for Herod, captivating him to the point where he promised to grant her any request. Guided by her mother, Salome asked for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Herod, bound by his promise and fearing the reaction of his guests, acceded to the request, resulting in John the Baptist's execution. This cruel act marked a high point in Herodias' story, revealing her relentless determination and manipulative prowess. Herodias' story doesn't end there. The aftermath of John the Baptist's death had significant implications. The execution of such a prominent and respected prophet stirred unrest among the people. Herod's court was thrown into turmoil as whispers of rebellion and divine retribution spread. The impact of John's death reverberated throughout the region, making Herodias a symbol of ruthless ambition and moral corruption. Her legacy is a testament to the destructive power of unchecked ambition and the tragic consequences of personal vendettas. In second place on our list is Athaliah. Athaliah's story unfolds in the corridors of power in Judah. She was the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel, her lineage deeply rooted in the political and spiritual instability of that era. Her son, Ahaziah, ruled the northern kingdom, but his reign was tragically short. About a year later, both Ahaziah and Joram, the leader of Israel, were killed by Jehu, who was determined to eliminate the influence of Ahab's family. With her son's death, Athaliah saw an opportunity to consolidate her power. In a bold and cruel move, she ordered the execution of all descendants of the house of David who could threaten her reign. This act of brutality was a desperate attempt to secure her control over the throne of Judah. However, her plan was thwarted by Jehoiada, the high priest, who hid Joash, the only surviving descendant of David, in the temple. For years, Joash was protected, waiting for the right moment to claim his rightful throne. Years later, when Joash reached the appropriate age, Jehoiada orchestrated a plan to crown him king. The public ceremony revealed the legitimate heir of the house of David, sparking a wave of enthusiasm among the people. Athaliah, realizing the imminent revolt, tried to resist but was captured and executed, ending her reign marked by violence and intrigue. Her story is a grim reminder of the cost of power when sought at any price and without regard for justice or morality. Athaliah's reign was marked by more than just her initial brutality. Once in power, she actively promoted the worship of Baal, following in the footsteps of her mother, Jezebel. She installed pagan altars and encouraged the people of Judah to turn away from their traditional worship of Jehovah. This not only caused a religious crisis but also further destabilized the kingdom, as the people became divided between the old ways and the new, imposed by their ruthless queen. The protection of Joash by Jehoiada was more than just an act of defiance, it was a strategic move to preserve the spiritual and cultural heritage of Judah. Jehoiada's careful planning and the eventual crowning of Joash represented a beacon of hope and a return to the values that Athaliah sought to destroy. The dramatic confrontation between Athaliah and the forces loyal to Joash underscored the inevitable downfall of tyranny and the restoration of justice. Athaliah's demise was not just a political victory but a profound statement about the resilience of faith and the enduring power of rightful leadership. In first place, the most ruthless woman in the Bible is Jezebel. A Phoenician princess and wife of Ahab, king of Israel, Jezebel brought with her the worship of the pagan god Baal, introducing idolatry into Israel. Her influence was deep and lasting, distancing the people of Israel from their traditional faith. Jezebel was a fervent advocate of Baal worship, encouraging the construction of altars and temples dedicated to this pagan deity. Under her influence, idolatry flourished, leading the people of Israel away from their religious roots. Jezebel embodied corruption and manipulation. She used her power and influence to eliminate any opposition, ordering the execution of many prophets of Jehovah. One of her main targets was the prophet Elijah, who denounced her idolatry and wicked actions. Elijah, one of the most prominent prophets in the Bible, faced intense persecution from Jezebel, who sought to silence him by any means. Additionally, she abused royal power to finance and support hundreds of prophets of Baal, using state resources to promote this foreign religion. One of the most striking episodes of Jezebel's wickedness is the story of Naboth. Naboth was a righteous man who owned a vineyard next to the royal palace. When he refused to sell his property to Ahab, despite a fair offer, Ahab became obsessed with the vineyard. Seeing her husband's frustration, Jezebel devised an evil plan to falsely incriminate Naboth. She orchestrated false charges of blasphemy against God and the king, using false witnesses to ensure his condemnation. Naboth was condemned and killed based on fabricated charges, allowing Ahab to take possession of his vineyard. Jezebel's cruelty did not go unpunished. The prophet Elijah confronted Ahab and Jezebel, announcing divine judgment for Naboth's murder. Elijah prophesied that Jezebel would face a tragic end, with her body being devoured by dogs in the city of Jezreel. This prophecy was dramatically fulfilled. After Ahab's death, his son Jehu assumed the throne, driven by a divine mission to eradicate Jezebel's influence. Confronting her, Jezebel tried to use her cunning and charm to seduce him but was thrown from a window by a king's officer. Her body was devoured by dogs, exactly as Elijah had prophesied, marking a brutal end to a life filled with wickedness and manipulation. Jezebel's influence extended beyond her lifetime. The introduction of Baal worship had long-lasting effects on the spiritual life of Israel. Her aggressive promotion of idolatry and the violent suppression of opposing voices created a legacy of religious turmoil. The cultural and spiritual damage inflicted by Jezebel's reign was profound, necessitating a period of intense reform and restoration under subsequent leaders. Her story serves as a stark warning of the dangers of abandoning one's faith and the destructive power of tyrannical leadership. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Leave a comment telling us from which city you are watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help us spread our work. Hugs, and stay with God.